everybody. I am Dr. Debbie Pates, and it is Wednesday, so it's time to do some yoga. On that note, let me silence my phone. We may be switching the date, not the date, the day of the week of yoga coming up in August. I'm not sure when, but hopefully we are going to be resuming actual live in-person yoga at the gallery, and we're going to have to figure out what day works best for that moving forward in this post-COVID world. So I will keep everybody posted on that, and in the meantime, let's do some yoga. So come on and start in child's pose. Knees wide or knees together. Let your head rest on the mat. Today we're going to do a flow. I thought I put my block down. Right here. Oh, there it is. Today we're going to do a flow that is, most of the flows that we do are inspired in many ways by one of my formative teachers, Baptiste. He was a fabulous, fabulous teacher. And we're going to do a flow that is a very straightforward Baptiste kind of flow. A lot of the elements are going to be very familiar. Anyway, start to breathe, which you already are breathing, but a little bit more deeply, a little bit more mindfully. Really allowing the inhales to fill up your lungs. Maybe even feeling your rib cage expand along your back. And then hollowing out as you exhale, emptying out. Letting each exhalation be a completion of the past, and every inhalation a start, a renewal, a beginning. Every inhale, a new beginning. And every exhale, a completion of the past. Notice what is showing up for you right now. Notice what you're bringing into this practice. What's happened in your day. Maybe it's energized you. Maybe it's taken some energy. I don't know, right? But just show up as you are. Show up as you are. And let it be okay. Let it be okay. It doesn't make sense to fight ourselves and how we're showing up. That doesn't mean indulge in, unnecessary suffering or difficult emotions, right? But let yourself feel whatever there is to feel. Hopefully it's not something difficult, but we show up as we are. From child's pose, if your arms aren't reached out in front of you, reach your arms out in front of you, tuck your toes, lift your knees, downward facing dog. Pedal it out. So this is a big Baptiste-ism. Rock forward into high plank from downward facing dog. And make sure that your wrists are right underneath your shoulders so that you're actually in a high plank upper push-up position here. And then without moving the position of your hands and feet, send your hips back. And Baptiste actually says widen it, right? Widen your down dog, make it even less stable. So if you want to play with that, walk your feet back a little bit, walk your hands forward, and you're almost immediately, for me, my muscles need to engage more. There's even a little bit of shake. Just something to experiment with. If you like it, then keep it. And if you don't like it, you don't have to keep it. It certainly ups the challenge in the practice. And if that's something that is appealing to you today or ever at any other time, then go ahead and incorporate it into your practice. Take a couple more breaths in downward facing dog, letting your heels sink and your hands press, your belly button lift. Let your neck be long. And then take a bunch of baby steps. Walk to the top of your mat and hang in ragdoll. Knees can be soft. Bend your elbows and either grab onto opposite elbow or tuck your hands into the crooks of your elbows and just sway a little bit. Sway back and forth. You could shake your head. Yes, I'm going to be present in my life. No, I'm not going to let the distractions come into my yoga practice today. And then release your hands. Bring your big toes into touch. So that's a Baptiste-ism. If you prefer hip width, go right ahead. I don't really care. But I'm just going to kind of stick with this today. And then with a flat back, open up your arms, rise, bring your hands together overhead, and pull your energy into your heart. Inhale and exhale and center here for a moment. So in a Baptiste practice, this is often when you'll chant Om, which we're not going to do. But maybe just, if you want to chant Om, you can chant Om. Maybe just take a few inhales and exhales, centering. Perhaps thinking about an intention for this practice, if that's something that resonates with you. And let's begin to flow some sun A's. Inhale your arms up. And exhale, dive forward or hands through heart center, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, put your hands down and step back, high plank and lower, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, lift from underneath your navel. Come on into downward facing dog. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale, and then look in between your hands and make your way, step hop or jump to the top of your mat. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold, sweep up, rise with a flat back. Bring your hands together overhead. And now pull your hands into your heart and then continue hinging forward. Forward fold to halfway lift. Hands down, step back, high plank. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Inhale and exhale a couple of times in down dog. Look in between your hands and step, hop, jump to the top of your space. Halfway lift, lengthen. Forward fold, take the length down. Sweep your arms up and rise with a flat back. Bring your hands together overhead and pull your hands into your heart and then right back up. Dive forward. Halfway lift. One more time through sun A. Step back to high plank, low plank. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up. Rock forward, high plank. Lower, chaturanga. High plank. Three-legged downward facing dog. Put your right leg down. Lift your left leg up. Rock forward, high plank with your left leg up. Chaturanga, high plank. Three-legged dog, left leg down. Rock forward, high plank. Chaturanga, and push right back up. It's a push-up. Do two more. Two. Third push-up. High plank, two. Downward facing dog. One more time here. Lift your right leg up. Rock forward. Chaturanga. Up. Three-legged dog. Put your right leg down and lift your left leg. Rock forward. Chaturanga. High plank. Three-legged dog. And left leg down. Look in between your hands. Make your way to the top of your space. Big toes touch. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Sweep your arms up. Hands together overhead. Bring your palms together and pull that energy into your own heart Inhale your arms up, Utkatasana chair, and let's hold Utkatasana for a few breaths. So pulling your knees back so that as best as you can, knees and ankles are in line. Sinking down, but you tuck, you don't want to take the C curve out of your back, but you want to tuck your tailbone a little bit, kind of bringing your hip point and your low ribs more together. Breathe, biceps by your ears, big toes and knees touching. Sink down a little bit more. Really go for it. And in fact, drop your hands to the floor. Touch the floor. And then try not to straighten your knees and lift your torso again. It's challenging. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Hands down, step back, high plank. Lower to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward and then spin your back foot flat. But what we're going to do in this flow is rather than come to warrior one right now, take your left hand and kind of lead with your left hand, windmill up and around. Right hand comes up straight into warrior two. And let's pause here in warrior two. Right knee is bent, but you don't want your knee jutting out beyond your ankle. So you can widen your stance to deepen your bend in your knee, or just keep it kind of modest. Flip your right palm, reach forward, and reverse your warrior. Reach back, right knee reaching forward, right fingers reach back, torso coming up first, and then back, and then extended side angle. Right arm down, left arm up, keeping your inner thigh active, tracking your knee out. Right arm reaches up, left arm reaches down, and then bring your hand down to the mat, other hand down to the mat, high plank, chaturanga, up dog, to downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward, spin your right foot flat, and we're going to lead with the right hand coming up in front of you, around and in back, left hand, left arm comes up, warrior two. And play around with if it feels right to you today, finding a nice deep warrior stance. Even if it's challenging on your thighs, it's going to be challenging for most of our thighs, but that doesn't, why does that prevent you from doing it? Flip your left palm and reverse your warrior. So there might be a reason. You might say, yesterday I did a long ride, I did a long run, I'm tired, I did a hike, I'm just tired. Or maybe it's because, and so that would be a good reason, right? Extended side angle. There could be another good reason that you're just tired. There's lots of good reasons. But what I'm inviting you to check in with is, are you just not challenging yourself because sometimes challenge is uncomfortable? Right hand down, both hands down on either side of your left foot. Step back, high plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog, to downward facing dog. Breathe, look in between your hands and step, hop, jump to the top of your space. Halfway lift, lengthen, exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, Utkatasana chair, and then bend down, forward fold. Halfway lift, high plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog, to downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward, back foot flat. Windmill up to warrior two. Flip your right palm right into reverse warrior. And then forward into extended side angle. Maybe bring your left bicep by your ear and then left hand down, up on your left toes. Right leg back, high plank to chaturanga. Up, dog, to down dog, and step your left foot forward, right foot flat. Windmill up Warrior 2. Reverse your warrior. Windmill back, extended side angle, and come down to the ground. High plank, low plank, upward facing dog. Lift up, downward facing dog, and an inhale or two. Of course, exhales at the same time. Look in between your hands and make your way to the top of your space. Halfway lift, forward fold, bend your knees, Utkatasana. Stand up, palms together and hands into your heart. One more time, straight through that, arms up, sink into chair, forward fold, halfway lift, high plank to low plank, upward facing dog, 2, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward, left foot flat, warrior, warrior 2 into reverse warrior, and then extend. Extended side angle, and take it down. High plank, chaturanga, up dog, downward facing dog. Step your left leg forward, spin your right foot flat, windmill up, warrior 2, right into reverse warrior, making it a dance. Extended side angle, and then down. High plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog, 2, downward facing dog. Whew. Find your breath. Rest in down dog. And then if you want to drop to your knees, take a drink, that's what I'm doing, or stay in down dog. And then, if you're still in down dog, from downward facing dog, if you drop to your knees and actually come into a seated position, bring your legs out in front of you and lift your arms up, forward fold, but don't fold over your toes. Try to reach out as far as you can beyond your feet, and then as slowly as you can roll down onto your mat. Roll down onto your back, trying to avoid that moment where you want to collapse, which is pretty hard. And then hug your knees into your chest. Baptiste yoga is really big on incorporating core work. So let's lift your legs straight up and place your hands palms down by your butt, and actually rock left to right a little bit and slide your hands underneath your butt, a drop that's going to support your low back. And then drop your legs 30 inches. Well, I meant to say a third of the way down. Drop your legs a third of the way down. Drop your legs another third of the way down. Breathe. Drop your heels, tap the floor with your heels, and then lift your heels right back up again. Try to keep your low back, so you're hovering your heels just an inch or two off the ground. Try to keep your low back on the ground. You might feel some shake here. And then lift your legs back up. Drop your right leg 1 foot or 1 inch or something from the ground. Bring it back up. Drop your left leg, hover it above the ground. Bring your leg back up. And again, one more time, third of the way down with both legs. Breathe. Keep breathing while we're doing this. So again, doing challenging things, legs a foot off the ground. But what keeps this being yoga rather than just some exercise is the breath, the presence, the mindfulness. Tap the floor with your heels and then lift them up, a drop. The reason we're tapping the floor is so we know that we're just hovering off the ground. Keep on breathing. Keep on pushing your low back. Allow yourself to feel the effort here. Your body is working. Our bodies are meant to work, you guys, not just sit and get flaccid like in the movie WALL-E. Bring your legs back up. Okay, take your hands out, but keep them down-ish. Drop your right leg about an inch off the floor. Lift your head and lift your arms and your hands so that they're parallel with your right leg. Chin is up, shoulders are up. Take a few breaths, breathe. Just allow this to be the activity. We're just left leg sticking straight up, right leg sticking out, arms reaching for our legs. Lift both legs up, lift your arms up, try to touch your toes. Left leg down and bring your arms down in line with your left legs. If you need to take a break, of course take a break. But what if you just challenge yourself? What if you just kept going? Kept trying to work through it, pull through it, push through it, breathe through it. And then release, hug your knees in. Rock left to right a little bit along your low back. And then before we're done with core, let's do some bicycles. So bring your arms behind your head. Do not interlace your hands and crank on your neck with your elbows by your ears. Have your elbows out. And then when you're ready, lengthen your right leg and bring your right elbow to your left knee. And then switch. Keep it slow but steady. Keep it mindful. The core, front and back, is the center of our body. Our nervous system is housed in our spinal cord. It is imperative that we keep our core strong. Now, and having a strong core has nothing to do with your weight or the size of your belly. Having a strong core means musculature to support your own body. I wasn't counting, I was talking. So we started with bringing our right elbow to our left knee. So let's do 1, 2, I'm doing right to left, 3, 4, 5, don't worry about keeping up with me, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whew. Stretch it out. Lay on the ground. Stretch your legs away from you. Arms overhead, fingertips reaching like a good morning stretch. You've all been awake probably for hours, but every breath an opportunity to reawaken. And then hug your knees into your chest and rock and roll. Rock and roll along your spine. And do it a few times. This can be really nice, fun. Babies love to rock. Our bodies like to rock. And then cross your legs and step back into a sphinx. So come into come onto your stomach and bring your elbows underneath your shoulders. Palms flat, hands shoulder distance or elbow distance. And then really pull, as if you're wanting to pull your shoulders back and your chest forward, tractioning. You may feel this, right, in your stomach after those core exercises that we just did. Take a few breaths, enjoy this. And then come on down, hands underneath your shoulders, tuck your toes, push up high plank, and just lift your hips, downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up in the air, bend your knee, open up your hips, make some circles, and then bring your right leg back up and bring it through for a low lunge. Stay on your back heel and rise up, crescent lunge. Bring your right hip crease back, sink into your right knee, push through your left heel. Really find this shape and then bring your hands together and twist. Left elbow to the outside of your right knee. You can drop your back knee if you would like to do that. You can open up your arms, spread your wings if you would like to do that. You can stay with your hands at heart center. You can even Take a bind if that's available to you in your body. I want to say in your practice, right? Because unwind here, come into runner's lunge. Bring your hands into the inside of your right leg, toe heel, your right foot, up toward the top corner of the mat and sink down. I wish that there were things in my practice that my body just doesn't want to do. And sometimes we need to accede to what our body is willing to do, not what it is that we want to do, not what we want this shape to look like, but what our body is able to do. We're all built differently. You know, if we were in person together and we lined up next to each other and took a picture, it would look very, very different. There would be taller people, shorter people, people of different weight and shape, and even those of us similarly weight and similar height. We're even still going to look different. Come on up. We're going to move into side plank. So you can keep your left knee on the ground or lift up onto your left toes. Bring your right leg around. Stack your feet. Vasisthasana, side plank. Right arm is up. If you want, bring your right bicep by your ear and stretch, stretch, stretch. And then right arm back up. You can even roll open a little. High plank, chaturanga. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Little detour. Lift your right leg up. Lift your right leg up really high. Let your butt muscle work here. And then keep your leg up that high and rock forward. And then chaturanga. And then high plank with your right leg up. Three-legged dog. Right leg down. Left leg up. Lift it up. So you don't really want to open up the hip here. Lift your leg up, your pinky toes pointing down. And let your butt muscle feel itself begin to work. And then rock forward, high plank. Chaturanga. High plank. Three-legged dog. Keep your left leg up and open your hip. Full body yawn here. And then bring your left leg back up and step it through. Stay on your right toes and rise into crescent. Right hip back, left hip point forward, feeling a stretch through the front of your body. Reaching up with your fingertips as you sink down, grounding in your feet, and then hands into your heart center and twist. Right elbow to the outside of your left knee. And the same options. Put your back knee down if that works better for you. Spread your wings if that works better for you. Even bind if that's accessible to you. And then unwind wherever you are in runner's lunge. Toe heel your left toes up toward the top of the mat and sink your torso down on the inside of your left foot. Breathing. Letting these more static postures, instead of being a place for your mind to wander, being a place for you to center. So pay attention to the sole of your left foot on the mat. The top of your right foot on the mat. Your elbows or your palms on the mat. Your left thigh, your left glute, left knee on the mat. And then bring your hands on the mat, flat if they were not already, and make your way into side plank on this side. So either lift your right knee up or leave it where it is. Stack your feet, maybe. Left arm lifts. Rainbow pose. Side plank. Maybe bring your left bicep by your ear and pull, pull, pull. Left arm up, maybe even open it a little bit. And then come back down to high plank. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. 2, downward facing dog. Breathe in downward facing dog. Look in between your hands and make your way to the top of your space, halfway lift. Bring your big toes into touch. If they're not already, forward fold. Squat into chair. Ready to do another twist. Bring your hands into heart center and left elbow on the outside of your right knee. Pushing your knees into your left elbow, allowing that to help you twist. And then release, separate your feet, hip width distance, and gorilla. Slide your hands, palms up underneath your toes. Halfway lift, lengthen your spine. Knees are really bent for most people here, and then take it down. So see what you can work. Maybe you work bending your elbows. Maybe you work straightening your legs. Maybe you work releasing your neck. Maybe you work staying in this posture and finding equanimity, finding balance, evenness. That sweet spot between pushing so hard you hate this and never want to do it again, and taking it so easy that the benefit becomes negligible. Release your hands. Bring your big toes back into touch. Bend your knees, Utkatasana, and twist in the opposite direction. Hands into your heart, right elbow to the outside of your left knee. Bring your knees into line with each other. And try to get your torso to the side. Heart and hands in line as best as you can. Breathing, thinking about lengthening your back, lengthening your breath. And then release, and let's come into crow. So, we're going to do 3 versions of crow here. Okay? We're going to do what we're going to do is 1 version of crow. We'll do regular crow with the option of doing one-legged crow. And so that's the 3 versions. So hands underneath your shoulders, chaturanga style arms. Knees on the outside of your triceps. Some people like to bring them into their armpits. Lift up and lift one foot and then the other. Take a few breaths in crow. So you can always just come on into child's pose. If you're in crow and you're taking breaths, awesome, stay. If you would like to try one-legged crow, what you do is you come into crow and you shift the weight onto one side, take your leg off your arm and lift it up. Oh, and then come back. Whew, so you would shift your weight into one side and gently lift opposite knee off and straighten it. So if you did that, if you're playing around with regular crow, if you did one side, at least give the other side a try. It's challenging. Woo! Okay. And then you guys come back to crow for 1 second. And we're going to shoot our legs back to chaturanga. Upward facing dog. 2, downward facing dog. Nice work. Oh boy. Look in between your hands and make your way to the top of your space. Woo! Halfway lift. Forward fold. And rise all the way up to standing. Bring your hands together and bring your hands to your heart. So if you're thinking, wow, This Baptiste practice is challenging. You're right, it is. It's a very challenging practice. Okay, let's do some balancing. That'll give us a tiny-ish break, maybe. Let's start with eagle. Arms up, bend your knees, Utkatasana. Right arm under, clasp your hands. Bring your elbows up by your shoulders, right leg up and over. I meant bring your elbows up by your shoulders. Move your hands away from your face. Sink down. Eagle is a compression pose, right? So you want to be squeezing your limbs together here. Squeezing your thighs, squeezing your arms, and then release. Sweep up, chair again. Other side, left arm under, left leg up and over. Try to lift your elbows to about shoulder height and move your hands away from your face. Squeeze, sink low. Squeeze, sink low. Release. Rise up. Right elbow to your right rib cage. Left arm stays up. Let's do dancer. Drop your right arm down and lift your right leg to meet it. Grab the foot. Bring your knees together and then begin to kick your right knee back as you reach your right arm forward, left arm forward. Left arm is reaching forward. Right arm is holding your left foot. Oh my God, right foot. And just stop. Kick and reach and then release. And let's switch sides. Bring your arms up. Left elbow to your left rib cage. Drop your right arm down. Oh my goodness, you guys, suddenly I forgot left and right. Okay, your right arm is reaching up. Your left arm is reaching down. Grab your left foot. Go on, dancer. It's better if I don't talk for a moment here. Try to keep your knee, your left knee, your back knee down, rather than opening up your hip here. So Baron Baptiste is one of those people who at least used to be back bending enough that he could reach both hands up overhead and grab his foot. And this beautiful arch release. Some people can do that. A lot of people cannot. I'm one of them. If you can do it, wonderful. If you can't do it, please don't judge yourself based on that tree pose. Weight in your left foot and bring your right foot up wherever works for you on your left leg. You can have your hands. You know what? Let's do this as Baptiste style. Having a little trouble finding some balance here. Bring your hands at your heart. And then interlace your fingers and turn your palms up toward the ceiling. Reach up. Tree. Rooting down. Really trying to elongate. Really reach your arms up. Stretching. And then when you're ready, release and let's switch sides. Left foot comes onto wherever works for you on your right leg. And then interlace your hands if you can remember the opposite finger cross. And then turn your palms up toward the ceiling and reach up as if you wanted to make bigger armpits. Does anybody want bigger armpits? Think about how critical we are of so many things in ourselves. Are people critical of their armpits? And why not? Why aren't we critical of our armpits? But we are critical about other things, which is totally not an invitation to get critical about your armpits. Don't go there, people. All right, release. Shake it out. I'm gonna take another drink here and then we'll move on. It is hot in my house today. I think it's the humidity. All right. We're not done with standing sequences yet. Come to the top of your mat. Lift your arms up. chair pose, and forward fold. Halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale. Take it down, high plank. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. 2 downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward, spin your back foot flat. And this time we are coming up to warrior 1. Virabhadrasana 1. So normally when I practice, I like to do the Sun A with warrior 1, which is a more traditional version of the Sun A. But you might notice that you feel differently coming into warrior 1 at this point in the practice with your body a lot warmer. So just be aware if there's anything to be aware of. Open up to warrior 2. Adjust your feet if necessary. Straighten your right knee. Reach and make your way into Trikonasana triangle. So adjust your stance in whatever way you need to. But you're reaching your left arm up, right arm down, trying to let both sides of your body be long so you're not, as best as you can, crunching in the right side, the underneath side. And then come on up and turn your feet parallel. Open your arms into a T, which they probably already are. Feet can be even a little pigeon-toed. Open your heart and bow. Prasarita, wide legged forward bend. Maybe grab onto your big toes or whatever you can grab onto. Some people like to get their heels. Maybe engage your quadriceps to let your hamstrings relax. Maybe engage your stomach to let your back elongate a little bit more. Neck is long here. Feel your hands touching whatever it is that your hands are touching, and the part of you that your hands are touching. Let that part feel your hands. And then T arms out, rise up with a flat back. Warrior 2. Reverse. And take it down. High plank. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. 2 downward facing dog. And lift your left leg up. Bring it through, low lunge, warrior 1 on the left side. Pushing into the edge, pinky edge of your right foot to bring your right hip point forward. Sinking into your left knee. Reaching up with your arms, space, creating strength, creating space. Sinking your low body to root to rise, and then open up, warrior 2, and straighten your left knee and reach, triangle pose. So you might have your left hand on your left leg, but there's not weight on it. So a lot of real core strength. We think about our core sometimes as only being our stomach, but the core is your back as well, the entire core of your body. Rise up. Feet parallel or pigeon-toed. Clasp your hands behind your back. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Straighten your arms as much as is comfortable. And then bow. Bringing your hands up, off your back, as much as they will. Stretching your shoulders. Breathe. Even if your breath speeds up, you're still breathing. Rise back up. Tee your arms out. Warrior 2 to the front of your mat. reverse warrior, and windmill down, chaturanga, upward facing dog, 2, downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up. Actually, wait, let me think here. Okay, drop your knees. Walk to the center of your mat. And stand up, we're gonna do Ustrasana camel. So go right on into it. You can tuck your toes if you want to bring your heels closer to your hands. You can bring your hands to your back, elbows squeezing toward each other. Don't overdo it in this shape. You want your back to last your whole life, treating you well, not giving you trouble. So keep it supple, but don't push it. And then come on up, out of camel, hands down, step back into downward facing dog. Down dog is a nice counter pose, 2 back bends as well. And then lift your right leg up and bring it through into pigeon. Right knee behind your right wrist. Maybe move your left knee back a little bit on the floor and sink down. Rest your head on the mat if you can. If not, rest it on something else. Your hands, a block, a pillow. And really slow down here. Take some nice deep breaths. Letting all the heat that we've built through this practice soften, open. We've still got a little bit more to go. We're not done. But enjoying this. Being present for this. And bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Tuck your left toes, lift your left knee. Come on up into 3-legged dog. Bend your right knee, bring it up. Bend your right knee. And come on over into wild thing. Flip on over. Another heart opener. Another back bend. Right arm reaching back. And then come on back. 3-legged dog. And put your right leg down. Readjust, find your down dog if you need to get back there. We don't automatically put our hands down in the perfect position, and then lift your left leg up and pigeon. Come on down. Oh my goodness. So my cat, there's a window over there, and my cat is trying to climb in the window, which has a screen on it. It's really crazy. I wish you guys could see it. I hope she doesn't break through my screen. My cat has broken through 2 screens. She broke through my screen door, and she broke through another window screen. So I guess the moral of this story is if you need a cat door and you don't have one, make one on your own. So someday I will need to replace my screens. In the meantime, we have cat doors. All right, enjoying pigeon while it lasts. Feeling the openings in those big, big muscles. And then come on up. Tuck your right toe. Lift your right knee. Come on up, 3-legged dog. And then bend your left knee. Bring it over and all the way onto the floor. Wild thing on this side. People I think call this fallen bridge. I forget. Anyway, come on back. 3-legged dog. Your left leg is up. And then put it down. You're in downward facing dog. Rock forward into high plank and lower onto the ground. Lower slowly, use your strength. And then when you get to laying on the ground, untuck your toes, bring your palms up by your sides, right ear, or turn your head one way, put your ear on the mat. And let your heart rate stabilize for a minute. And then flip your palms over. Bring your chin or your forehead to the mat. And we're going to do locust. So when you are ready, you can also actually, if you have the room, tee out your arms so they're about shoulder height. And then when you're ready, lift everything. So again, working the core here. This is a back bend. It's a heart opener. Looking for length before the back bend though. So you don't want to be meaning to lengthen, but actually compress. And then release, arms up by your sides. Turn your head the other direction. Trying to get your ear on the mat. So it's funny, right? We want to do good, but sometimes we can actually create stress, right? Like by compressing. So going for length, we're going to do bow pose. Bring your chin or your forehead to the mat, bend your knees, grab your feet. And then, when you're ready, kick and lift. You can grab your feet, you can grab your ankles. Using the strength of your hands to grab on as your strong legs kick back and you open, you challenge, and then release. And turn your head to one side again. We got one more to go, so we'll even it out. All right, bring your head back center. We're going to come up into a cobra. So bring your legs together and hands underneath your shoulders. This is a cobra, so keep your toenails on the ground and just lift up. You can even have your hands interlaced behind you, or you can have your hands hovering. And then release, come down. Turn your head to the opposite side. Palms up, arms long. And then hands underneath your shoulders and just push up. Push back into a child's pose for a moment, lengthening out, counter pose to those back bends. Hopefully no part of your back, well, hopefully every part of your back is singing in a great way. No part of your back is complaining. So just take note if that is what's happening. Sometimes people push a little bit further than their bodies are ready for. And then sit up, come on your hands and knees, however you want to do it. Make your way onto your back. And bring your feet flat. Right away, just go up into bridge pose. You can clasp your hands underneath your back and walk your shoulder blades toward each other. You can do a full wheel here if that's what you prefer. Not going to be here too long. And then release, come on down. Hug your knees into your chest. Rock left to right. Nice job today, everybody. Keep your right knee in and let your left leg go long. Spinal twist. To your right arm out. Look right as you bring your right leg across. Let's take a few breaths here. We're not rushing through this. Letting the warmth in your body, letting the deep breaths really work to send some healing energy to your low back, to your kidneys, to your ribs. Come on back center, hug both knees in. Keep your left knee in, right leg long on the floor, and twist. Softening, deepening. Maybe right now even starting to move to a place of gratitude. Gratitude for your body. Gratitude for yourself, for being kind to yourself. Hopefully that resonates. Come on back center. And Shavasana. Lay on your back. Final resting pose. You can let your eyes close maybe. You can let your body be heavy. Unclench your jaw. Let your tongue fall from the roof of your mouth. Just soften, and let softening be a good thing. We need softness, right? When things are too hard, they are rigid, brittle, you break easily. But when things have some pliability, they don't break as easily. It's not bad. Softness isn't bad. Being grateful for your ability to not always think in extreme terms. Everything isn't always right or wrong. There's gray area. Enjoying. We have a few more minutes. So after a quick moving and challenging practice, spending a few moments in Shavasana, allowing the work to integrate. Please come to a place of gratitude now. Choosing to come from a place of enough rather than that more grasping, I need, I want, that every commercial we've ever seen is trying to convince us. But what if we're all okay right the way we are? Doesn't mean we don't have goals. It doesn't mean we don't want to strive for things. But we don't need anything that we don't already have within us. And for that we can be grateful. Thank you guys so much for joining me here today. I'm going to leave you on your backs. If you have time, stay in Shavasana. Enjoy your day. Namaste.